Real special treat this morning to have Paul Westhead, the only coach to win an NBA championship and a WNBA championship, join us this morning on the show. Paul, how's it going? How are you?
I'm doing fine. I'm living out here in the Los Angeles area, and like everyone else in the country, getting through this coronavirus and day to day.
Absolutely. So, basically, when it comes to the game of basketball, you've lived an incredible life. You are the guru of go, and you turned conventional thinking on its head when it came to the sport and coaching. You've got this amazing new book out, The Speed Game. We wanted to have you on to speak a little bit about it. And I had, so many questions to ask you about your career and specifically about fast break. First and foremost, why did you stay so faithful to your run and gun style, something that you called the system?
Well, it took some years to get it, Bobby. My first head college job was at LaSalle University, and I was kind of a traditional Jack Ramsey style coach who coached me. And then I ran into some players who just were begging to play faster. I had a little point guard from Cape May named Charlie Wise, and I had Joe Jelly Bean Bryant from John Bartram High School in Philadelphia, and they just looked at me like, say, Coach, let's pick it up. So I responded to them, and they helped me get the running game going. Also in the 70s, I coached in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and in the Puerto Rican leagues, the players loved to run. So I was a coach looking to run, and they said to me, well, you found us, like, let's go. So that combination got me rolling into being a fast break believer. And then once you get it, it's hard to go back and play normal.
I think it's also fair for the fans at home to point out, I think the book is just so incredibly written. And I was wondering if that had anything to do with the fact that you at one point were actually a high school English teacher coaching basketball.
Yeah, my career started out on the academic side. I graduated from St. Joseph's as a player, more known for my grade point average than my points per game average. And I went to Villanova University for my master's in English literature. So I became, an academic student. And then I had a chance to coach at a local high school, Cheltenham High. They wanted me as a teacher. They took a gamble on me as a coach. And I loved that experience. And at the end of my career there, we went to the state championship. We were 26-0 and lost in the final game. So I had a good coaching experience, but I love that combination of teaching and coaching.
Yeah, I mean, again, you've really had a chance to live so many incredible moments over the course of your life. And, you mentioned before Kobe Bryant's father, it ends up being a couple of Philadelphia kids, a place where you're from, that really, I think, is one of the defining moments of your career with LMU. I actually have the jersey behind me of Bo Kimball and Hank Gathers. I think it's incredible to believe that we're talking about 30 years ago now. And actually, just this past March, LMU putting up a beautiful statue of Hank Gathers to pay respects to his incredible career. With all the time that has passed, do you still reflect on that incredible Elite Eight run for LMU?
Well, yes, I do. And leading up to that final season, the players that came to Loyola Marymount, Hank Gathers, Bo Kimball, Corey Gaines, Tom Peabody, that they all transferred into LMU, and they changed the speed game. They made it faster than I've ever envisioned. So, the unfortunate moment of Hank's passing on the court in the Portland game after he had a slam dunk just reversed all of that. We were joyous, and then we were totally saddened. So that has not changed. It seems like 3 minutes ago. The joy and the sorrow are mixed forever, and we still miss Hank. And I was at that unveiling, and it was great to see the family and friends and players. And what a great young man.
I'll never forget Bo Kimball shooting those free throw shots left-handed in the NCAA tournament I'm sure fans at home will not, if they're old enough to have remembered those moments.
Yeah, I kind of got caught by that. I was so wrapped up in trying to keep the team together, and we're now in the NCAA tournament, and I have a lot of things in my mind, and we're in the middle of the game, and then all of a sudden, Bo gets fouled, and he's going to shoot 2 free throws, and there's silence in the arena. So the fans knew what he had said. So, like time stopped. It seemed like forever, and he dribbles, 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 cups it in his left hand, and there it goes to the basket area, and nothing but net. I mean, incredible sense of relief that it was done and successful.
Yeah, so fans will not, I don't think if you're a college basketball fan, March Madness fan, you'll ever forget that moment. And I'm sure our NBA fans that are tuning in will never forget that Lakers championship team in 1980. What a special season that was with Magic Johnson as a rookie. And then a guy that I wanted to ask you about because he's a native New Yorker at a Power Memorial, arguably, could be the greatest basketball player of all time. Some may know him as Lou Alcindor, but I think many will know him as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. What an incredible journey that must have been, coaching that 1980 Lakers championship team.
Yeah, Kareem was really the heart of the team. We were going to go as far as he would bring us. The irony of that is, in the last game that we eventually won in Philadelphia, my hometown, was without Kareem. He made a big play at the end of Game 5 and won the game for us, but severely injured his ankle and was not to play anymore the rest of the season. So we had to improvise and play Magic Johnson at center. And as you perhaps might recall, he scored 42 points that night as Kareem's replacement. But Kareem was a great guy. I mean, we got along well. I can reflect one time in training camp, after practice, as most college coaches do, I ran lines where you go up and down like 10 times to kind of get the players' attention and get them in condition. So he did it, and as the players walked away, Kareem walked over, put his arm around me, and said, "Paul, I don't do lines." So he thought I was smart enough to figure it out that he did it once for me, not to make a scene, but don't do it again. And I never ran lines again. And he did call me Paul. He didn't call me coach. He only called John Wooden coach.
I got to see the tail end of his career, but many times when I have conversations with big basketball fans about all-time greats, I think in my lifetime, the greatest player I've seen, that conversation is going to be Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, but Kareem and Magic Johnson. Kareem, you look at the numbers. 71 consecutive victories in high school, then goes to UCLA, three-peats at UCLA, ends up being three-time tournament most valuable player, wins 6 NBA MVPs, twice the NBA Finals MVP, 19-time All-Star, which is a record. I don't think enough people, and 11-time all defensive team as well. I don't think enough people give him credit as maybe being the greatest player of all time and still the all-time leading scorer in the NBA.
Well, he certainly should be in the conversation. I often felt over the years that Michael Jordan deserved that number one spot, but if he does, Kareem is right there with him. And all the things you said are exactly true. I wouldn't have been coaching all these years if it wasn't for Kareem's ability to kind of help lead the way. Magic became the figure of the team, but Kareem was the man when I was there in 1980.
That was part one of our interview with legendary basketball coach Paul Westhead. Tune in Monday for part two with the Guru of Go.